Saturday. I couldn't wait to start my weight training program today. Even though Mom wouldn't let me get the equipment I needed, I wasn't going to let that hold me back. So I went into the fridge and emptied out the milk and orange juice and filled the jugs with sand. Then I taped them to the broomstick and I had myself a pretty decent barbell. After that, I made a bench press out of an ironing board and some boxes. Once I had that all set, I was ready to do some serious lifting. I needed a spotting partner, so I called Rowley. And when he showed up at my door wearing some ridiculous getup, I knew I made a mistake inviting him. I made Rowley use the bench press first, mostly because I wanted to see if the broomstick was going to hold up. He did about 5 reps and he was ready to quit, but I wouldn't let him. That's what a good training partner is for, to push you beyond your limits. 15 more, come on. I knew Rowley wasn't going to be as serious about weightlifting as I was, so I decided to try out an experiment to test out his dedication. In the middle of Rowley's set, I went and got this phony nose and mustache Roderick has in his junk drawer. And right when Rowley had the barbell in down position, I leaned over and looked at him. Fa-boo! Sure enough, Rowley totally lost his concentration. He couldn't even get the barbell off his chest. I thought about helping him out, but then I realized that if Rowley didn't get serious about working out, he was never going to get to my level. Gasp, sputter. I eventually had to rescue him because he started biting the milk jug to let the sand leak out. After Rowley got off the bench press, it was time for my set. But Rowley said he didn't feel like working out anymore and he went home. You know, I figured he'd pull something like that. But I guess you can't expect everyone to have the same kind of dedication as you. Wednesday. Today in geography, we had a quiz. And I have to say, I've been looking forward to this one for a long time. The quiz was state on capitals, and I sit in the back of the room right next to this giant map of the United States. All the capitals written in big red print, so I knew I had this one in bag. But right before the test got started, Patty Farrell piped up from the front of the classroom. Teacher, teacher! Patty told Mrs. Ira that he should cover up the United States map before we got started. Nice catch, Patty. So thanks to Patty, I ended up flunking the quiz. And I will definitely be looking for a way to pay her back for that one. Thursday. Tonight, Mom came up to my room, and she had a flyer in her hand. As soon as I saw it, I knew exactly what it was. It was an announcement that the school was having a tryouts for a winter play. Man, I should have thrown that thing out when I saw it on the kitchen table. I begged her not to make me sign up. Those school plays are always musicals, and the last thing I need is to have to sing a solo in front of the whole school. But all my begging seemed to do was make Mom sure I should do it. Mom said the only way I was going to be well-rounded was by trying different things. Dad came in my room to see what was going on. I told Dad that Mom was making me sign up for the school play. That if I had to start going to play practices, it would totally mess up my weightlifting schedule. I knew that would make Dad take my side. Dad and Mom argued for a few minutes, but Dad was no match for Mom. So that means tomorrow I've got an audition for the school play. Friday. The play they're doing this year is The Wizard of Oz. A lot of kids came wearing costumes for the parts they were trying out for. I've never seen the movie. So far for me, it was like walking into a freak show. Mrs. Norton the music director, made everyone sing My Country 'Tis of Thee so she could hear our singing voices. I did my singing tryouts with a bunch of other boys whose moms made them come too. I tried to sing as quietly as possible, but of course I got singled out anyway. What a lovely soprano. I have no idea what a soprano is, but from the way some of the girls were giggling, I knew it wasn't a good thing. Trials went on forever. The grand finale came with auditions of Dorothy, who I guess is the lead character in the play, and who should try out first but Patty Farrell. I thought about trying out for the part of the witch, but I heard that in the play the witch does all sorts of mean things to Dorothy. But then somebody told me there's a good witch and a bad witch, and with my luck I'd ended up being picked the good one. Monday. I was hoping Mrs. Norton would just cut me from the play, but today she said that everyone who's tried out is going to get a part, so lucky me. Mrs. Norton showed the Wizard of Oz movie so everyone would know the story. I was trying to figure out what part I should play, but pretty much every character has to sing or dance at one point or another. But about halfway through the movie, I figured out what part I wanted to sign up for. I was going to sign up be a tree because 1, they don't have to sing, and 2, they get to be Dorothy with apples. Getting to peg Patty Farrell with apples in front of live audience would be my dream come true. I may actually have to thank Mom for making me do this play once it's all over. After the movie ended, I signed up to be a tree. Unfortunately, a bunch of other guys had the same idea as me, so I guess there are a lot of guys who have a bone to pick with Patty Farrell. Wednesday. Well, like Mom always says, be careful what you wish for. I got picked to be a tree, but I don't know if that's such a good thing. The tree costumes don't actually have armholes, so I guess that rules out any apple throwing. I should probably feel lucky that I got a speaking part at all. They had too many kids trying out and not enough roles, so they had to start up making up characters. Ronnie James tried out to be the Tin Man, but he got stuck with being the shrub. Friday. Remember how I said I was lucky to get a speaking part? Well, today I found out I only have one line in the whole play. I say when Dorothy picks an apple off my branch. Ouch! That means I have to go to a 2-hour practice every day just so I can say one stupid word. I'm starting to think that Ronnie James got a better deal as the shrub. He found a way to sneak a video game into his costume. And I'll bet that really makes the time go by. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. So now I am trying to think of ways to get Mrs. Norton to kick me out of the play. But when you only have one word to say, it's really hard to mess up your lines. Ouch! December, Thursday. The play is only a couple of days away, and I have no idea how we're going to pull this thing off. First of all, nobody has bothered to learn their lines, and that's all Mrs. Norton's fault. During rehearsal, Mrs. Norton whispers everyone's lines to them from the stage, from the side of the stage. I'll get you, my pretty. I get that you're pretty. I wonder how it's going to go next Tuesday when Mrs. Norton is sitting at her piano 30 feet away. Another thing that's screwing everything up is that Mrs. Norton keeps adding new scenes and new characters. Yesterday, she brought in this first grader to play Dorothy's dog, Toto. But today, the kid's mom came in and said she wanted her child to walk around on 2 legs. Was crawling around on all fours would be too degrading. So now we've got a dog that's going to be walking around on his hind legs for the whole show. But the worst But the worst change is that Mrs. Norton actually wrote a song that us trees have to sing. She said everyone deserves a chance to sing in the play. So today we spent an hour learning the worst song that has ever been written. We three trees. Thank God Roderick won't be in the audience to see me humiliate myself. Mrs. Norton said the play is going to be a semi-formal occasion. And I know there's no way Roderick is going to wear a tie for a middle school play. But today wasn't all bad. Toward the end of practice, Archie Kelly tripped over Rodney James and chipped his tooth because he couldn't stick his arms out to break his fall. Yeah! So the good news is they're letting us trees carve out armholes for the performance. Tuesday. Tonight was the big school production of The Wizard of Oz. The first sign that things were not going to go well happened before the play even started. I was peeking through the curtain to check out how many people showed up to see the play, and guess who's standing right up front? My brother Roderick, wearing a clip-on tie. He must have found out I was singing, and he couldn't resist the chance to see me embarrass myself. The play was supposed to start at 8 o'clock, but it got delayed because Rodney James had stage fright. You'd figure that someone whose job it was to sit on the stage and do nothing could just suck it up for one performance. But Rodney wouldn't budge, and eventually his mom had to carry him off. The play finally started around 8:30. Nobody could remember their lines, just like I predicted. But Mrs. Norton kept things moving along her piano. The kid who played Toto brought a stool and a pile of comic books onto the stage, and that totally ruined the whole dog effect. When it was time for the forest scene, me and the other trees hopped into our positions. The curtains rose, and when they did, I heard Manny's voice, "Puppy!" Great, I've been able to keep that nickname quiet for 5 years, and now all of a sudden, the whole town knew it. I could feel about 300 pairs of eyeballs pointed my way, so I did some quick ad-libbing, and I was able to deflect the embarrassment over Archie Kelly. "I think you dropped an apple, Bubby." But the major embarrassment was still on the way. When I heard Miss Norton playing the first few bars of We Three Trees, I felt my stomach jump. I looked out at the audience, and I noticed Roderick was holding a video camera. I knew that if I sang the song and Roderick recorded it, he would keep the tape forever and use it to humiliate me for the rest of my life. So I didn't know what to do. So when the time came to start singing, I just kept my mouth shut. We three trees from yonder glen. For a few seconds there, things went okay. I figured out that if I didn't technically sing the song, then Roderick wouldn't have anything to hold over my head. But after a few seconds, the other trees noticed I wasn't singing. I guess they must have thought I knew something that they didn't, so they stopped singing. 2. Do spy and maiden fair and sweet. Now the three of us were just standing there, not saying a word. Mrs. Norton must have thought we forgot the words to the song, because she came up whispering to the side of the stage and whispered the rest of the lyrics to us. While as we are rooted to our spots, she doth move on lighter feet. The song is only about 3 minutes long, but to me it felt like an hour and a half. I was just praying the curtains would go down so we would hop off stage. That's when I noticed Patty Farrell standing in the wings, and if looks could kill, us trees would be dead. She probably thought we were running her chances of making it to Broadway or something. Seeing Patty standing there reminded me why I signed up to be a tree in the first place. Pretty soon, the rest of trees started throwing apples too. I think Toto even got on the act. Somebody knocked off the glasses off of Patty's head, and one of the lenses broke. Mrs. Norton had to shut down the play after that, because Patty can't see 2 feet in front of her without her glasses. After the play was over, my family went home together. Mom had brought a bouquet of flowers, and I guess they were supposed to be for me. But she ended up tossing them in the trash can on the way out the door. I just hope that everyone who came to see the play was as entertained as I was. Wednesday.